What's up, everyone? This is Destroyer229, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 5. That was a very odd circle thing right there. Last time, we began our infiltration of Kamoshida's castle. We got a bit more of an introduction to Persona fusions, and a bit more about what our capabilities are within the Velvet Room. We then made it back to the last safe room that we were at before we had to go and rescue On. And now that we're back here, we can head on into new territory. In this episode, we are going to head on back into the palace. We can consult our party members from here, but there really isn't going to be that much that they will tell us. So I don't think it's strictly necessary to show that for the time being.
Okay, let's get back to exploring.
But for right now, we head back into the palace. And from here, we head on into a new area.
Now then.
Okay, so there are a couple enemies that are nearby. Is he gonna turn? Yeah, he's gonna turn immediately around. Crap. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit tricky to try to do, but... Aha!
True form. Okay.
Thankfully, like, the enemies that I'm encountering at this point seem to just be jack-o'-lanterns / pyrojacks, which I'm perfectly okay with because I can take them down without having to resort to using any skills. Ooh, an onyx. That's worth a good amount of money. So, yeah, as long as I can try to conserve my SP by taking them all down with melee attacks, that will be incredibly helpful because I seriously need to save up on that crap. Alright, and gotcha!
Your true form. Okay.
Of course, having to rely on using all physical attacks means that if I miss, then I'm kind of screwed. Because I missed twice on that one. And hey, there's an item up here. Alright. Yeah, you'll see just random junk items like that. They're not really worth all that much. Gems are also just stuff that you can sell, but they usually sell for a lot more money. Oh, wait, I can't actually be there. Then I'm just gonna race on ahead.
Show me your true
Usually you
form.
can't hide behind those couches.
Okay.
I got kind of worried there for a little bit because I was actually kind of... Ooh, hey. I was kind of expecting to be able to head back over there. Oh man, we got a devil fruit. That means we'll be able to get a superpower. Okay, well, anyway. We'll just keep pressing onward then. Now, as we're traversing on through a palace, there is something that I want to go over. And that is, of course, my world-renowned history lessons! Yeah, like I mentioned before, Persona 5 does a better job at kind of explaining, like, some of the origins of the different personas, but it's not all of them, and it's not really all that much. So, just like with Persona 3 and Persona 4, we will, of course, be going over the different history lessons. Now, with this palace in particular, I'm only going to be going over one. Damn it. Ah, this is where we get access to that.
Listen up. Still. Now, let's carry out our plan.
Will do. So, yes, I don't really feel bad about actually explaining that because we saw it before in the intro sequence. But yes, we can actually hide behind cover if we see that X icon. And we can even move to a different position by tilting the left stick either left or right. And if another hiding spot is nearby, we can go there automatically if we press the X button. And we will automatically get an ambush if we attack an enemy from cover. And we also can't use cover if we are being pursued. So, all we do is just move forward.
Got our sights set on them.
And then, gotcha!
Show me your true form.
Ooh,
The
Agatheons.
first move is ours.
Technically, these are new
Wings
enemies.
to hit its weak point.
So, weak to wind. I don't believe I mean, Bicorn sort of, but he doesn't have wind yet. So, I guess I'm just smacking it. Fortunately, Agatheons have a crap ton of defense. So, I am just going to have to use Mona in order to just knock him down.
It's almost scary how good I am.
And I would rather get the experience.
Time for some bloodshed. Game over.
And we also see Morgana's finisher.
Okay.
Now,
Shadow
like I was
defeated.
mentioning before,
That was easy, huh?
I would like to go over the various history lessons as we are progressing through a palace. However, actually, I think this door is locked. Yeah, it's locked.
This door doesn't look like it opens.
So as we're going through, we are going to be going over various real-world, well,
Shadow spy.
maybe not inspirations, but I will be detailing the stories behind the different mythological figures within Persona 5. And
We've
I'll
got our
start
sights set on them.
once
The
we
timing is
ambush
up to
this
you.
guy.
I'll reveal your true form.
Ooh.
Now's our chance
The
to
troublesome housemaid. Okay. Yeah, we're starting to get into some more powerful enemies, so now we actually kind of need to try. I think you're weak to electricity.
Let's see.
So I'll just save my SP for the time being. Mona can attack. Skull. There we go.
enemy defeated.
Alright, and... Baton Pass? I'm trying to think. Nah.
Nice going,
Now, even though we can't recruit this Shadow, we can still demand something from them. Okay, I think that was worth it, depending on how much money we got from the other one that we killed.
Nice work, team.
And how much money did we get? Oh yeah, that was definitely worth it. Hey, and I leveled up!
All right.
So next time we encounter that Shadow, I'll be able to recruit it.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's see it.
Okay, now what's actually kind of interesting with Persona 5's personas, is the fact that they're not based on any one set of mythology. Unlike Persona 3, which was more Greek, but also just greater Mediterranean, and Persona 4, which was almost exclusively Japanese mythological creatures. Instead, Persona 5 goes with more literary and sometimes historical thieves and tricksters. So they aren't actually they're not any sort of part of a pantheon or even any one area. I mean, even just looking at what we currently have, we have a figure based on French writings. We have a captain from the Caribbean. We have a femme fatale that's from a story that's in Spain, and a figure from the Wild West in California. And there are even more varieties of where our different initial personas come from. So there's very little overlap, if any, between any sort of personas. Instead, just taking on a role similarity as opposed to a regional similarity.
Joker.
How suspicious.
I think I can handle it. Observation, eh?
Somewhere.
So yes, in order to solve this puzzle, you just need to use third eye. A very basic way of going about this, but this is essentially a tutorial dungeon. So by using third eye, we see that we need to press that lever, or pull that lever. Yes, press the lever, exactly. Now, we pull that lever, and then we pull this lever. And that opens the bars.
Whoa.
Why, thank you, Mona. And what is our prize?
Now then.
Well, an incomplete map's better than no map at all.
Wanna get going?
So, yes, we have dedicated maps that we can find throughout a palace. Usually there are 2 maps, but once we find one, we'll be able to have a general layout as to where the immediate area of the map is. So we'll see just what exactly is coming up ahead. Now, as for our history lesson, I was kind of tempting as to how many I should do within this palace, but I think we will only really go over one persona for this history lesson. And we will do that as soon as I take care of this guy.
Show me your true form. All right.
So our first history
Easy
lesson
win.
will be based on our initial persona, Arsène Lupin.
I'll reveal your true form.
Oh, Skull, you're pathetic.
Oh, well, this actually gives me an opportunity to show you how On's gun works. So, unlike any of our other guns, you can't actually aim this. She has a lot more ammo than any of us, but the damage is generally a lot lower and is impossible to aim. It will just fire at one random opponent. But since these incubi are both weak to guns, it still works.
Just stay there.
Let's get serious. A beautiful rose has thorns.
Would have been nice if I could have killed one of them and then got into a negotiation, but oh well. Hey!
Okay.
Huh?
So,
That was a little
Arsène Lupin. Arsène Lupin is a fictional character who was created in 1905 by the author Maurice
I can
Leblanc. Arsene is considered a gentleman thief who is very suave, very sophisticated, and generally tries to do good while operating on the wrong side of the law. A lot of times his exploits are usually done either out of jest, so whether he's just kind of messing around with someone, basically being kind of like a troll, or if he's serious, he only steals from those who are undeserving, usually those under any sort of worse criminal background than he is. Or just someone who is a general, well, like I said, someone who's undeserving, someone who should be alleviated of the wealth that they have acquired, if you get what I mean. Now, Arsene has starred in 17 novels and 39 novellas, which means that he is a very... There are a lot of stories based on Arsene.
I'll reveal your true form.
This is the last one. Joker, are you okay?
Bastard!
All enemies defeated. We all did great. Just what I'd expect from you, Joker.
That was stupid! How come he got 2 chances to attack immediately? The jerk.
Okay.
Usually enemies don't get a chance to do that. I mean, I knew that I would get jumped on by one of these things. By one of the chandeliers, but damn it. Mona, heal me. Do I need to use like a medicine or something? Devil fruit, well, I could probably use a devil fruit. Now, because Arsene has been in a lot of different stories, he's had quite a number of exploits. And these range from pulling off massive heights while under surveillance to basically, well, some of the more extraordinary tales, I suppose. After all, there was one instance in which he found the Fountain of Youth in Castle Caglioso, who was also claimed to be so by a rival and love interest of his, Josephine Balsamo. And other exploits just involve him, you know, just, how do I want to word this? Tricking some of the greatest sleuths of his time, including Sherlock Holmes. Although, in the original stories, Sherlock was called Herlock Sholmes. Because, you know, copyright and whatnot.
The cognition here is weak.
Ooh, a
Maybe it's
lock
safe for
chest.
Oh.
Now this is what we need lockpicks for. So this chest has a gold breastplate and an onyx. Lock chests typically have some very good items in them. So the gold breastplate, it's slightly better defensively as opposed to our basic armor. A little less evasion. It's better off sold than actually worn, which, you know, it's got a point, but it is better than what we've got. Now, what's also kind of interesting about Arsene is the fact that sometimes he's even a detective himself. So he can he can work on the better side of the law if it fits his better interest.
Ah, nice. We can use this as a safe room.
And now we have a new fast travel point. Okay, is there anything that I really... How far down on my HP am I? Not too terribly down. Let's go ahead and consult with everyone, see how we're all doing.
Hey. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so that is basically kind of the plot-related stuff. Checking up on everyone will just
I'm on board.
give you a general idea on everyone's health and SP.
What are your thoughts?
So it's not really important to really go and talk to them about
Okay,
that.
let's go.
Although it might be... Well, it's actually strictly not necessary to save, because even if you fall in battle, you can restart at the last save room that you were in, which is super nice and doesn't just take you immediately to the title screen, which I can appreciate.
All right, let's go.
Now, as to the story of Arsene, obviously with so many different stories that were written about him, it will be impossible to go over all of them. So instead, for our story, for our purposes...
Listen up.
basically third eye. So, if you see an outline on an enemy while using third eye, you can tell how strong they are at a glance. Blue means that they are significantly lower level than you. Yellow, they're roughly the same, and red means that they are a lot higher. So you can use that to gauge just how tough an enemy will be. Now, unfortunately, we can't exactly do anything up there at the moment. So, as I was saying, about our story for Arsene,
Be careful.
we are going to go and talk about the first few stories that were written
Show me your
about
true
him.
form.
Ooh, but first, new enemies. The Mad Marsh Horse. Oh, I don't remember exactly what you're weak to. I don't think you're weak to darkness, but I can certainly try.
There.
No, but darkness works pretty well. I think they're weak to I honestly don't know. I feel like one of us has a weakness of theirs. Not wind. Fire? Not fire. Electricity. It's electricity, but unfortunately, Skull was last. And I don't have an electric persona anymore. Oh well.
All right.
So like I was saying,
That's
we
all
are
it
going to
takes
be
for me.
discussing the first few stories that were written about Arsene.
I'll reveal your true form.
Oh! I'd rather not fight you.
I'm not done.
The Brutal Cavalryman. This guy is hard. Like, he will wreck you very easily. I am actually just gonna escape.
I look for a way out.
Everyone guard.
Hold on just a bit more. There's gotta be a way out of this. We're getting out of here. You ready?
Whew, okay. That could have been bad because fighting that shadow is a pain. And that does increase the security a little bit and doesn't actually eliminate the shadow. Does make sure that he's not there for the time being, though. So we just go around the corner here. And yeah, you saw that now he's back.
It's somewhere.
Or at the very least, a... Haha!
Show me your true form.
We're on the ground. Nice going.
Alright,
Skull.
now we've got a new interrogation. That was a little bit tricky to try to get rid of those incubi first. But this persona, well, this shadow is gloomy, so let's see how we can go about this.
This is all so sudden. Oh.
It'll take a while to explain.
What? More importantly,
There are other ways to live.
such a brat.
Hey!
I am the...
And for this, we get Silky. Awesome! I'm trying to remember
power's
what
incredible,
exactly a
Joker.
type of persona Silky is. I feel like she's a bit more of a healing. Let's see. I mean, I would like to actually get to my story, but I also would like to not be ambushed because this dungeon can be pretty hard first. Then again, a lot of like the early dungeons tend to be rather difficult. So Silky is, ooh, an ice persona. So, like I was mentioning before,
I can see it.
he's facing away. Yoink! Yeah, I mean, I always like to try to steal as many things as possible because, you know, it's always helpful to sell things later. But anyway, so, our story for Arsene. The story is basically takes place over the course of the first few chapters of the first book, I suppose, for Arsene. Arsene Lupin, Gentleman Burglar. Now, our story begins on a ship that's en route to America. On this route, and just trying to get through here and reading my notes is a little bit tricky trying to multitask everything. During this trip to America, the passengers receive a telegram stating that Arsene Lupin is
I'll
on the
reveal
boat.
your true form.
Too weak to bother with.
Led by a man named Bernard Andres. D'Andresi. French is hard sometimes. Everyone on this boat is trying to ascertain who among them is Arsene Lupin. Now, given the clues that were able to be given by the telegram before it went dark, the likely suspect is a man named Louis Rosin. And despite this, it doesn't seem like he is the one that is actually
I'll
Lupin.
reveal your true form.
Now, during this investigation, D'Andresi is also courting a young woman who goes by Miss Nellie. Now, upon arriving in America,
Talk about luck.
there's a chest with a snuff soul. Ooh, that'll be helpful. And a door that doesn't lead anywhere.
This door doesn't look like it opens. Let's try somewhere else.
Now, upon arriving in the United States, the detective Ganimard is there to apprehend Lupin, and he successfully does so, because Lupin was D'Andresi. Now, later on, Lupin would state that the only reason he was caught was because that he was distracted by a beautiful
We're good to
woman, that being Miss Nellie. But regardless,
No way.
regardless, he is captured by Ganimard and is sent to jail.
Show me your true form. All right.
Now, while Lupin is in jail, a man by the name of Baron Nathan Cahorn receives a letter from Lupin himself. And it is a list of different valuables that the Baron has. Lupin tells the Baron in the letter to give him all of the items that are on that list. And if he does not do so, Lupin will come to his mansion and steal all of them and a lot more on the night of September 27th.
Show me your true form.
Enemy defeated! Go, give me more!
Alright, a new shadow that we can try to interrogate. This one's upbeat, so I always didn't like these. Let's see what we can do.
Fine. Found you.
I'm cuter than you.
So,
Yes, I want world peace. Hey! And thus we get Kelpie. Unfortunately, we are now maxed out on Persona, so now we need to get rid of one of them. Kelpie is a wind user. Thank God I need one of these. What do I want to get rid of? Mandrake's not really helpful, but it's of the Death Arcana. I'm gonna need that eventually. Jack-o'-lantern is a fire user. I may get rid of Incubus. Incubus or Bicorn. Let's get rid of Incubus.
You've got a new mask, Joker!
Alright, so that's a new persona added to our collection. Okay, now Cawhorn being completely paranoid because, oh my god, I just got a letter from Arsène Lupin. He goes to Detective Ganimard, who happens to be vacationing nearby. Yeah, sometimes trying to move around can be a little bit tricky. Come on, there we go. Okay, so like I was saying, Cawhorn goes to Ganimard, who was
Anytime.
vacationing
Just watch your distance.
nearby. This guy really isn't going to be making this really easy, is he? So, he goes to Ganimard in order to basically defend his house.
I'll reveal your true form.
So Ganimard, as well as a few other
too easy.
officers, head on into the Baron's house in order to protect it on the night of the 27th of September.
I can feel it.
Despite their efforts, though, the theft goes as was stated. Arsène managed to steal everything that he said he would steal, and more. Now, Ganimard is distraught, as of course the Baron is, because all of his stuff was stolen. But Ganimard is wondering, how was Lupin able to do this? He's in jail. So Ganimard goes and interrogates Lupin.
It's close enough to strike.
And Lupin basically admits to it. He says that he was the one who sent the calling card, as well as the one who stole all of those items. Is that guy going to head down here? Wow, okay. I guess not. He's going to be stuck in that loop for... Oh, nope, he was just being really dumb. Or maybe he's still going to be really dumb. God dang it.
Show me your true form.
Now, in addition to admitting
That
to
enemy
the
was
theft,
really weak.
Lupin tells Ganimard that he will not be present at his own trial.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so if you see, like, that sort of locking mechanism, that means that the door can open, but from another way.
I can feel it.
So Lupin basically just taunts the detective saying that, yeah, I'm not gonna be there. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. Now, soon before the beginning of Lupin's trial, he is basically put on a bus in order to, you know, in fact, I don't even remember what the reason was, but essentially, there was a reason for a transport, and Lupin escapes from that transport. Now, the police follow him. They make sure they know exactly where he goes, but Lupin just has dinner at a restaurant and then just casually strolls back into jail.
Nice. Okay, let's go. Treasure chest spotted.
So yes,
Must
we
be
can
something
also
good inside.
ambush an enemy by being at a higher elevation than them. So that's convenient.
Show me your true form.
Really? It's just an incubus?
Let's see.
Actually, I don't even think I need to shoot him. Yeah, I don't think I really need to. I mean, I could, but... Oh, shoot. Maybe I should have shot him. Oh.
What are you doing?
Ah, an introduction to begging. So, depending on the type of shadow, if they are low on HP, they will beg for their life. So, depending on the personality, if it's timid, and then they are more likely to beg, whereas irritable shadows never do. You'll never get that option from an irritable shadow. However, if you ask them to lend you their power, they will do so without a negotiation. And also, you can get money or items from them. Since we don't need an incubus, give us some money, and I'll let you live.
Okay.
Don't talk smack to me.
Well.
And also, if you spare a shadow that way, it will not increase the security level. For some reason. Oh, sweet, I leveled up.
It's a step forward.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, because it certainly makes negotiating a hell of a lot easier. And we get a muscle anklet. Cool, an accessory. So this, I believe, will increase physical attack. Well, may as well give that to us. Yeah, it increases strength by 2. So that's fine for the time being, although I'm definitely going to want a better accessory. Now, during the trial itself, Ganimard is called in as a witness to identify the person being put on trial. And Ganimard is convinced that the person who was sitting in that courtroom isn't Lupin. And this creates a shortcut for us. So, Ganimard is convinced that the person who's sitting on trial is a doppelganger. In fact, the man that they have on trial was someone who was apprehended, but was released the same day that Lupin escaped. And that the guards mistook the man as Lupin as he walked back in to the prison. Now, the court releases this man as they frantically try to find Lupin. Ganimard, though, has some very odd suspicions. So, he tails the man after he is released. And after a while, he talks to the man, and the man begins to laugh. And Lupin reveals himself as that man. He never left the trial. Instead, he was just released on his own. In fact, Lupin tells Ganimard that he specifically dieted and used drug injections to make him look like this man, who some accomplices managed to, well, get apprehended for that specific purpose. And Lupin did so gradually so that the guards who were guarding him didn't realize the change. It happened so slowly that they never knew the differences. They just thought that he was getting more and more sickly. And on the day of the trial itself, because Lupin said that he would escape, everyone was convinced that he had escaped. And so, they let him go.
We can hit it when it turns around.
Now, Ganimard is
safe
kind
room might be
of
close by,
distraught
Joker.
at this because
Why don't we
he
look
was
for it?
the one who freaking let Lupin go.
We can get it now.
But he doesn't actually stop Lupin after he reveals himself. He's just kind of stunned. And Lupin walks away. And thus ends the beginning of our tale of Arsène Lupin, the gentleman burglar.
A safe room. Oh, thank goodness.
Now, like I said, there are many, many more stories about Lupin. But, for our purposes, that is just a small taste as to the power of the gentleman burglar. However, since we've made it to the safe room, we are going to go ahead and call it a day here. So, next time on Let's Play Persona 5. We continue investigating the castle. We still have a long way to travel. Oh boy. I mean, we've made a good amount of progress through here. But, oh boy, we still have a lot left to go before we get anywhere near the treasure. So we will continue exploring next time. So until then, everyone, take care.